had boasted the world's strongest air force, yet by the early 1930s, the country was ranked 5th among the world's leading air powers. By the mid-1930s, the encroaching threat of war with Hitler's Germany could no longer be ignored. Germany was rearming, and the Luftwaffe was expanding at a much faster rate than the RAF. As a consequence, prototype new fighter planes, the Hurricane and the Supermarine Spitfire, were ordered for the RAF at the end of 1934. By the end of the 1930s, it was obvious to many countries, including Britain, that Hitler had built up a mighty war machine. The first Hurricane prototype took to the skies in November 1935, and the Supermarine Spitfire soon followed. The Spitfire's original designer, R.J. Mitchell, had designed many planes for aircraft manufacturer Supermarine by the time of its auspicious first-ever test flight in March 1936, with Vickers Aviation's chief test pilot Captain J. Mutt Summers at the controls. Yet this was no instant success story. Mitchell's original design for a new fighter plane, dubbed the Shrew, designed to the exact specification of the Air Ministry, had originally been tested in February 1934 by Summers. Unfortunately, the plane's cooling system let it down, and it failed to impress. Undaunted, Mitchell returned to the drawing board. This time he bypassed the Air Ministry specifications to design a thinner elliptical wing, a smaller span, and a cockpit with a perspex cover. Plus, of course, a distinctive Rolls-Royce Merlin engine. His Spitfire plane wowed the watching air marshals and won the day. Yet although the successful Spitfire test flight, an acknowledged turning point in aviation history, led to a contract being issued in June that year for Supermarine to produce 310 Spitfires, the frontline operational strength of the RAF remained pitifully weak when compared to that of Germany's Luftwaffe, and it was not until 1940, after war had been declared, that Spitfire production really got going. Sadly, Mitchell never knew the true success of his inspirational design, as he died just 1 year later from bowel cancer, aged only 42. A year later, the Spitfire entered RAF squadron service, delivered to 19 Squadron at Duxford. The subsequent development of the Spitfire from that initial Mark I pioneer through to 24 different Spitfire types or marks was due to the talents of the Supermarine team, headed by Joe Smith, Mitchell's successor as chief designer. Even in those early war years, however, it had still been touch and go when it came to getting the plane off the production line. In May 1940, for instance, the Air Ministry came perilously close to cancelling orders because the Spitfire required a lot of hand-building and finishing, making it more costly than anticipated. But the orders were completed, and that same month, inspired by the efforts of Canadian media tycoon Lord Beaverbrook, Max Aitken, Spitfire fundraising to build the planes, £5,000 per Spitfire was the figure given at the time, took off at breakneck speed across Britain and around the world. The general public had become increasingly aware of aviation, queuing up to watch air displays and willing to pay 5 shillings a time at flying circuses, where pilots toured the country and treated the paying public to a thrilling ride in their planes. While Hurricane fighter pilots shot down more enemy planes than the Spitfire, and indeed more Hurricanes took to the skies in the Battle of Britain, it was the Supermarine Spitfire that captured the public's imagination, thanks in part to its glamorous ancestry via the famous float or seaplane air races of the 1930s, such as the Schneider Trophy, the most prestigious annual trophy for such an event. The Supermarine seaplanes broke world speed records, winning the Schneider Trophy outright for Britain in 1933. Even before the Spitfire took centre stage in the Second World War, the Supermarine brand already implied a prestigious heritage of aviation superiority. As soon as war was declared in September 1939, the Spitfire was up in the sky.